Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Richard Villa podcast. Like every week, I bring you a new guest. Today is a very special guest. I've known this guy for many, many, many years. I mean, I'm talking about LATV years.
15 years, bro.
15 years. Now, I've seen you grow amazingly from a disc jockey or video jockey or what is it?
It was a VJ, yeah.
A VJ. From a VJ to an actor
But even
to a
before that,
stand-up.
man.
Huh?
Even before that.
Really?
Even before you started working for LATV, I was at Second City when you were doing Refried Fridays. And then I got LATV.
Really?
For like a hot second, yeah.
Really? Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's way back.
Way back.
Yeah.
And now.
Because I would sneak into the improv through the Second City because remember back in the day?
They had Second City, right?
Yeah, Second City was in the same, what the lab is now.
Yeah.
So I would intern there, and then I would sneak off, and then that's how I started to meet everybody, especially on Fridays. Yeah.
On Fridays, yeah. So Refri Fridays.
One of the first, one of the first
shows
shits that I was performing.
Ladies and gentlemen, this man's then moved on to MTV. I've seen you now do series on YouTube. I see that you're doing table reads for los. ¿Quiénes son los Morales?
Oh
The
yeah,
Morales.
it's a new series for Netflix called Gentified.
So that's who I'm messing with right now, guys. It's Carlos Santos.
Yeah,
All this big intro to say
that's a long walk for a short drink of water.
It's so many credits, man. But I'm so proud of you because I remember watching you work LATV, and I was like, God can't give this guy everything. Like, he can't be gorgeous and good at being funny. And you, as much as I try to hate you, because I'm so envy of you, I was like, this guy. And the little girls would go crazy for you. And I'm the funny, chubby guy in the back, like cheering them on. I would go, nah, that guy's a cool guy.
That was a late development for me because I didn't grow up when I was a kid. I wasn't whatever the.
Oh no, we saw the Instagram post.
Yeah,
we understand. It was work.
I had to develop my comedy to survive. So. Yeah, no, but it's been a minute, man.
So you started as a stand-up, or what was it?
I started doing stand-up. Well, when I went to Fresno State, and one of the first, actually, this is really interesting because one of the first gigs that I ever did that I got paid to do stand-up the first time was opening for Joey Coco Diaz.
Really?
Yeah, because what happened is I started doing stand-up at Fresno, like in the Fresno State. I took a class. There was like a communications class. And because I always wanted to do it, but it was like I was like 18 at the time, and so they started putting on shows, and there was an entertainment company there, and they started bringing in the comics. So at some point, I got to meet a bunch of people, a lot of comics when they were coming in. So I opened for Carlos Oscar. Do you remember Carlos Oscar? Is he around?
Yeah, he does cruises, and I asked myself that a lot.
Yeah.
Where is Carlos Oscar?
I haven't seen him in a minute.
If you are somewhere out there, send me a message, man.
Yeah, he was great. Joey Coco Diaz. I got to open for Freddie Soto, man.
Wow.
Back in the day. This is like 2003. 2002, 2003. It was a minute. It was a while back.
Yeah.
So that's why I started doing stand-up. At the same time, I got into improv kind of like after I graduated from college, and that's why I ended up at Second City. So I knew it was all...
Now, did you always wanted to be an actor also?
I wanted to be an actor.
Was it all, you knew...
I wanted to do comedy from the get. I mean, I was like 13 or 14, and I was like, oh, this is a career that people can make money. And so, like, I always, since I was little, I was messing around. I was the mascot. I was the youngest with my family, youngest with my friends. I just didn't know that this thing that I was doing for fun could actually become a thing. But I was in Puerto Rico, I'm born and raised in Puerto Rico, so I had no clue how I was going to do it. Mm-hmm. So it just started with me going on the exchange program and I ended up at Fresno. It's like, it was like a...
You just basically followed your gut.
Yeah, basically.
You went and said, okay.
I was like, yeah.
How do you land LATV? Because I feel like that was your first big push into production. Like this is
which led me to be. I ended up being a host for 7 years because of that. So I did 3 in LATV and 4 in MTV. But what happened was I literally got. This is kind of fun. I moved in August of 2003.
I want the world to know how lucky you are. So go ahead.
Do you remember? Was it Chuckle Monkey or it was there was a website, one of those stand-up website, and they had an audition notice for LATV.
On there. Okay.
And then it was it was either Chuckle Monkey or it was one of those stand-up where you could it was for comedians. Because, that's because I remember that's how I got it. I didn't have representation. I moved in August and September. I auditioned for LATV, so I got the notice. And I ended up auditioning for the rest of the year. So September, for 4 months, they kept bringing me back, and they tried to make a competition out of it.
I remember.
You remember that?
Yes.
It was like one of the first things. So I didn't really start till 2004. And then when I got it, I hosted a show. It was called Instant Request Live. And I did that for a little bit. But it seemed like it wasn't working out because they only got me and somebody else, and it wasn't working. So I was almost going to be out. But then then they put me in the chat. There's like there was always somebody like was working the chat in the computer, like in the background, not like the main host. And so I was like, yeah, put me in there. And that ended up would save me because I was just like having so much more fun that I started to create like a thing. Like it wasn't my responsibility for the show to work. It was just me goofing off. And then eventually I got to do LA TV Live and all that stuff. So I did that for a little bit. Which then led to MTV. So I ended up having 3 years of experience, not even thinking that I was going to be a host. But I think ultimately what was fun about it was the comedy aspect of it. And so that's why it bled into MTV. By 2006, I was in New York.
Exactly. That's right. There's a guy right now sleeping in his car listening to this shit. Do you understand?
Everything's but it all starts from me moving to. I was living in Pasadena at the time and just like cruising because back in it was harder back in the day to find stuff.
It was one site and
exactly.
If that fucker was lazy, you were fucked. I didn't get to see it.
So yeah, no, I mean,
it's funny because I would do the circuits, but I wouldn't see you doing stand up when you were hosting.
Yeah,
you did very little stand up when you were hosting LA TV.
Stand up has always been like seasonal for me. I always need to my energy is always. It's a comedy base, so I have my comedy demons that need to be satiated. And at the beginning, it was a lot of stand-up because that's what I had. And then when I started doing improv at Second City, then it's just like my energy kind of went into that. And then the hosting, really, that's what ended up happening is like, but I remember too, like the first thing that ever happened in 2003 when I was graduating college, I got it to remember Local Comedy Jam?
Yeah.
I got that. I was still in school when I booked it, and I had to drive down to the Ice House to do it. So it was like a huge transition. It was like, it was a huge deal. Now I'm just going way back.
Wow, I remember
so it's been
doing
seasonal in that sense. So it's like I was like bouncing around like whenever I would like do it for a little bit because I was hitting the improv. I mean, religiously. For a while at the beginning. And then when I started doing hosting, especially when I went to New York, my energy, because I started writing and producing sketches for the show, which wasn't part of my contract and wasn't part of the thing, but they gave me the opportunity to
work for free, come on in.
Yeah. Of course they're not gonna, that's weird, they're gonna have an issue with that. So my energy went into that. So I poured myself into that, and it just worked out. I ended up doing stand-up in New York and like around like the colleges and stuff, but it wasn't NACA. But I feel like that's what it took a hold of me. And so like when I came back, I started doing UCB, and then a few years ago I kind of went back into like so it's just like it's seasonal. It wasn't like a one. My goal was never to focus on one thing because
you're playing all the sports. I
loved everything about the different disciplines and and that's hard too because sometimes when you spread yourself thin, that also means that it takes a little longer. That's also
not for you, bro. You got it. Don't worry about it. You're fine. You're fine. I'm saying you're just Bo Jackson of the comedy world. Fucking asshole.
But yeah, that's why I was like I ended up organically getting into UCB. Now I'm part of the comedy theater because just organically.
So you're a part of that now.
So I'm in a house team. I'm in a sketch team that performs a sketch show every month. It's my second year in that team, and then I have a group called Spanish Aquí Presents, and we do a variety show.
A Spanish Aquí. No?
All Latin, yeah. Spanish Aquí Presents. But you're gonna go do it.
Yeah. You said the first Friday, right?
Yeah, the first Friday of every month. So. Plug. I don't know when this comes out. But
no, it'll come in before.
So August 2nd.
August 2nd.
We're going to do our show.
Okay.
And it's 4 of us, and what we do is we bring a lot of all Latinx, which is the coin on the term, to bring everybody in to perform. And then we bring a guest, we interview them, and then we do an improv set based on the interview. So we've had everybody. We have our next show. It'll be after, but this Friday we got Frankie Quinones is coming.
Yeah.
And we've had we've had a bunch of people come to the show. We've been doing it for like a year and a half now. So,
yeah, I'm proud of you, bro. I'm so happy that you're doing this. Like that you guys took the initiative to go, hey, how about we do it in Spanish? Fuck it. Why not?
We started in Spanish, and then I was in a team that was all in Spanish. It was called Improvisos Peligrosos. But for this, we just wanted to be as inclusive as possible. So it's it's whatever. It's whatever.
Oh, okay.
Goes.
So it's
not just Spanish. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's called Spanish Hickey Presents because originally we were called Spanglish Hickey Presents, and we'll go into the details. But there was a situation where somebody was complaining about the use of the word Spanglish, and I didn't want to. You know how it is. You know how it is.
Oh my god.
We were just starting out, and I said, you know what? I'm not gonna be the. I'm like, I don't care because we're gonna have.
So how Puerto Rican are you, bro? That shit like this doesn't fucking drive you nuts, bro. And for me, look, I'm gonna tell you, like, I feel there's two different worlds between me and you. You're Latino, I'm Latino, but you live in that world, and I think it's beautiful because in your world, all the Latinos look at each other as equals, and they're just Latinos, and it's a lot of love there. In my world, I feel it's like more paisa Huntington Park. ¿Qué pasó, pariente? And it's like, chingada tu madre, pinche salvadoreño. Yeah, they discriminate amongst each other and discriminate against everybody else. But at least they say, no seas maricón, órale, cabrón. And nobody fucking flinches. They go, well, okay. Son maricón, you heard him. And it's a lot more, can I say tougher, rougher?
It's your show. You should be able to say whatever you want.
See, this is what they do. This is what they do. No seas mamón, güey. You would have got me on the fucking point. Yeah. But how do you do it? Like, how do you do it? How do you, when shit like that happens, when I don't know if we want to use the word Spanglish necessarily because it might discriminate on.
No, it wasn't even discrimination. There was a team that was using the name.
Oh, it was just drama. Oh, I thought it was just drama. I went into a whole fucking.
And honestly, like I was over. Like I didn't even want to like deal with that kind of energy because we were not coming from we weren't trying to steal anybody's thing, and nobody owns the word Spanglish.
Yeah.
So the reality is that we just I said because the team was like fired up. The other people in my team, my group.
Let's get it.
But I was like, you know what? If we change the name, then what excuse are they gonna have? You know, we don't want to be a part of that bad energy. You know, energy is.
I'm so glad there's drama in improv teams too.
Is there? Definitely. Oh, of course.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, talking shit about each other's groups.
The whole.
Is it like a little
high school? Gang? Everything is high school.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. That's crazy.
But that was it. So we just called it Spanish. But originally the name way we came up with it was because you remember the TVs had the SAP button. Mm-hmm. So that's where it came from. Instead of secondary audio programming, we just changed it to Spanish Hickey Presents or Spanglish. We wanted to keep the SAP. That's it.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Spanish. No, aquí. I get it.
Pero ¿qué importa? Yeah.
I don't care.
People get it.
Dude, the fact that, and then am I going to perform in English?
Whatever you want to do, man.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. I'll do one and one. I'll do one Spanish, one English, one Spanish.
Do whatever you want.
Oh, that's awesome.
You get to do whatever you want.
I love it, bro. I love the fact that you guys are pushing the Spanish language. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever been broke?
Yeah.
Like broke.
Holy shit.
Really?
You don't know what I fucking went. Oh, yeah.
See, because, you can fucking cuss. Don't worry about it. But you've been broke?
Do you want me to tell you? I'll give you the cliff notes, but
okay, because you understand, we've known you jump from one TV show to hosting to another MTV show hosting. From the
outside, it looks fantastic.
Yes. So okay, just so people understand.
It's very like spiritual too in a way. It's a TED Talk, but I'll give you the rundown. When I was at MTV, I realized I didn't want to be a host, and I was in a good position. That's when I realized. What I loved about hosting was the comedy stuff. Once that was taken away, for a second, I had my own sketch comedy show, my variety show.
I remember that.
It was ESL, which was Entertainment as a Second Language with Carlos Santos. But then because of the recession, they took it away. So I was left with just tossing to Pitbull videos. And I was like, oh, no, this is not. I had my thing for like a hot second for like maybe 2-3 months, and then it was taken away. So in 2009, I was like, oh, I gotta leave. I was under contract, and I was very comfortable. A lot of people are faced with these challenges where they're like, oh, I'm getting paid, I'm very comfortable, but am I doing what I want? And so I was like, nope, I'm gonna double down. This is what I knew at that time. If I continued to host, it was gonna take over. So when I was done with MTV, I moved back to LA, and I started from scratch, man. I did not take any hosting jobs. So to 2011 and 2012, I was broke.
Really?
When I tell you that I was broke, I had a place in North Hollywood. 2012 was a hell of a year. By the time 2012 rolled up, I had broken up with my girl. We've been dating for 4 years, and so I was so poor I couldn't even break the lease. I didn't even have money to break the lease.
Wait, you were dating for 4 years, but yet you were still working at MTV when you guys were together.
Yeah.
So then you leave MTV. Now you're broke for 2 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was literally starting from scratch.
Wow.
I got rid of. At the time, I was rep by William Morris.
Mm-hmm.
I had this girl, everything, but nothing. But it wasn't real. It was real and it wasn't real. So it's like, I just doubled down. I was like, screw it. I broke up. We broke up. I left. I started from scratch. 2012. So I was broke. When I tell you I was broke, I was in debt. It was bad. At some point I was having whatever was on the cupboard. At some point I had Jolly Rancher and pancakes. That's all I had left for dinner. I was down to I was able to figure out a way to live off of $10 for at least 4 days worth of food. I would buy, it was like I could barely scrape by just to pay the rent. And so I would never leave because I didn't even have gas money. I remember in August of that year, I had $3-4 in my Wells Fargo account. And why that's special is because and my dad passed away. A bunch of shit happened. Yeah. A lot of shit happened. But at the end of the year, literally at the beginning of 2013, the first week I was in Puerto Rico, I had let go of all that stuff. I was just kind of, and then I booked Metro PCS.
I have it on my notes.
And that changed my life.
Metro PCS.
That changed my life. And I did it in Puerto Rico. I auditioned in Puerto Rico over Skype. Once that happened, and it wasn't right away, but I started doing the Hispanic market and the American market, and so everything just started to build from there. And I only did it for 2 years, but I was a year after I cleared my debt, which was a lot of sizable just because of those commercials.
One commercial.
Well, I started.
You were the campaign.
One campaign. The campaign kept growing and growing.
Yeah.
Originally, it was just gonna be a couple, and then it just kept going and going. And then that's why I kept doing a lot of it. There was one time where I went to Mexico for 10 days just to shoot a bunch of commercials in English and Spanish because they didn't even know I could speak Spanish. So originally, I just did the English version, and then I was like, hey. And as you know, when you do commercials, if you do both markets, it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I started doing voiceovers for them. I started doing print. It just built into something that I wasn't even under it wasn't a contract. It wasn't like the Verizon guy who was had a contract. It was all kept building, but because they didn't lock me down, it ended up being this huge amount of money, and it just saved my life. But I did have to eat shit, and I did have to. I sacrificed what I believed in, which was to let go of the whatever momentum of fame or whatever the bullshit was from MTV to start from scratch. And I suffer for it. And then from that point on, as soon as I was able to be off of that, I still I'm very comfortable. The best gift that I can give myself is financial peace. So I'm not even bawling or anything. I've just saved it all, and I pretended after suffering so hard, I'm even if I have the money, the best thing is not to have to worry about stuff. And since then, I've been able to just focus on comedy. And
does your spending change? Your spending habits?
No,
change?
In terms of sometimes I'll travel or if I with certain things, but I'm not. Dude, when it was a full 12 months of just not having no clue how I was gonna pay the rent that month.
Yeah.
So I'm people that are going through that or have been through that know what that feeling is.
Exactly.
So. Instead of oh, now I'm a big spender, I was just put it in the bank. And now I remember one time, and this is really sad thinking about it. I didn't even have money for gas, so I could even sometimes I would just take the subway because I didn't have money. It was just cheaper to take the subway somewhere than it was to drive my car. I remember I booked something where they gave me some extra money or I got paid for something, and I just was couldn't wait to drive around, and that was
Oh,
so
shit,
happy. I was I'm going to go through Laurel Canyon.
Calling girls you haven't talked to in months.
Yeah, so I'll never forget that. And I think it was such a specific, and it was
I want you to know that I auditioned for that Metro PCS.
Yeah?
And the fact that you're telling me that you made all this money does not make me happy. but it's for a reason. But you needed it. Yeah. You understand? So I remember auditioning for it. I'm going, wow, this is gonna be great. I hope I get this. And the reason why I didn't get it, it's you needed it more than I did. 2012, I was doing okay, but that sucks. Well, that's good. It builds character. At the end of the day, you're like, fuck it. I can sympathize with the guy that is suffering now, the guy that's listening to this on this fucking car at night. You go, all right, fuck it. We all have to go through it. So they have hope. They go, fuck. So the campaign ends with Metro PCS. Mm-hmm. Changes your life completely. Now you're on top.
Mm-hmm. I mean, financially.
Financially, you're on top. You're squared away. So now it gives you that freedom to go and explore and say, "Fuck it, I'm gonna just do this because I want to do it."
Exactly. It was like sponsoring myself. The Metro PCS sponsored me for a lot of time, for a lot of years, and from that point on, I continued to book. I had never really been a commercial person, a commercials cast, but after that. And I think it has to do with the fact that people put a lot of premium into improv when it comes to commercial work.
Yes.
And so that's also been a blessing because I feel like in certain years after Metro PCS, I booked campaigns that I've made so much money, and maybe the next year I don't book that much, but because I saved everything, then it's almost like, again, this literally just happened where like in 2017 I did a bunch of stuff. 2018 I was doing a lot more live shows. So I was concentrating a lot at UCB, so I wasn't really making money, but I was comfortable in that I had stuff from
stacked away.
Yeah. And I think that's the blessing, and that's the thing. That's why I feel like it's more important for me to have financial stability or peace. Just like not like I want to spend it. I want to have this like I'm like very chill.
By the way, there's a Mercedes outside.
Oh, yeah. Wow, it's a 2001 Mercedes.
Oh, my God.
I've had a Civic my whole life. That's all I've ever had.
But that's an actor's life, right?
Yeah,
That's an actor's life.
Totally.
So do you consider yourself more an actor than a comedian or a stand-up comedian? Or you just...
I love both, man, because I love acting, but I've lived comedy my whole life. I mean, comedy's been the way in. Mm-hmm. And I think comedy is like the big umbrella term, which then trickles down to stand-up and improv and sketch and acting. And but I love acting. I mean, I went to school, I did theater, and I mean, I just booked a series on Netflix. It's my first series regular.
This one?
Yeah, it was like my first lead in a series.
That's dope. I can't wait
episodes.
To see it.
Yeah,
it's
man,
a drama. It's a drama, too.
It's a dramedy, so I get to do comedy.
Oh, in it?
Yeah.
Are you... Well, can you spoil it a little bit? Can you say if your son...
Yeah, well,
the actor, it's
three cousins.
Joaquin Cosillo?
Yeah.
Bro. Cochiloco. Yes. I see, for me, when I see stuff like that and I see you in there, I go, oh, I know that guy. Yeah. I know Joaquin. Oh, shit.
Yeah, Joaquin plays our grandpa.
Okay.
And JJ Soria, which has been... He's great. He's been on a bunch of things. And then Carrie Martin is also... So we're all cousins. Mm-hmm. And we live in Boyle Heights.
So it's gonna be shot here.
It was shot here. We did it.
Oh, you did it.
Done.
Oh my!
For 2 months, we shot 10 episodes over the last 2 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
I went through pilot season,
and
then at the beginning of the year, pilot season, and then I booked my first series.
I mean,
it's awesome. Insane. So it's a dramedy, but a lot of the comedy stuff kind of falls on me, which is great because it's like it was a blessing to be able to. Not just be a co-star or a guest star, but to really have a character grow from episode 1 to 10, and to find it's very transcendent as an actor. It's very like transformative to have that experience because it confirms that I am good enough. Yeah. We all in the back of our heads are always like, oh, are we good enough? Or are we imposter syndrome?
Our own thing.
Imposter syndrome, right? Yeah. But to have that experience and to be able to sustain a show and what my instincts were telling me were in line with what they wanted. Or just to see the positive feedback from that, I think was amazing. So it's like a next level, and I also had to fight for it.
Really? Who was up for it?
Well, Netflix. No, I had to fight for it in the sense that I didn't have enough credits.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I mean, I only had at this point.
Because this was a leading role, right?
This is a lead role. This is a series regular role. Like, it's a leap.
So what happens when you have to fight for it?
I mean, for me, I was like, fine. And when I say fighting, it's like because I didn't have the credits. When I say that, it's because I've done co-stars and guest stars, and usually it's a system, with the way Hollywood works. But it's a catch-22. They don't give you work because you don't have credits, and you don't have credits because you don't work. So it's always trying to break that catch-22 and trying to get away with it as much as possible. This was a huge leap for me. So I wasn't gonna complain because I was like, yeah, keep calling me if you. I'll prove
Whenever
it to
you
you.
want,
I don't have
yeah.
anything to hide. I'm not lying about anything. I can prove it to you.
Mhm.
So I ended up going back like 6 times.
Did they do a background check?
yeah. They would check my credit. No.
No. Background checks to know that you're not a criminal or shit like that. All that.
I'm sure they do that.
Did they check through your Instagram, your Facebook, your Twitter?
I don't know how far it went, but I know that when it comes to shows, I think they more than anything look at the credits.
I'm just saying.
IMDb.
I just had a friend that do the new NBC show.
Which one?
Bring the Funny.
Bring the Funny. Bring the Funny.
Yeah, and man, they went through his social media and they said, "Oh no, take this off, take this off." That's what I'm asking you because I wanted to ask Gabriel that question about the show, but you understand that if something's posted on your site, now the show goes to shit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it depends on the show. 'Cause Bring the Funny is a whole separate entity.
Yeah, but they're still stand up. I don't know. That's why I'm asking you.
Yeah,
Did they do that?
Well,
to
it's
you
a
guys?
reality show. The thing about Bring the Funny, it's at the end of the day, it's a reality show, and they want to control the narrative. Whereas, show you're acting, you're playing a character. It's not yourself. You know what I mean? Like unless and obviously people are put the task for what they say on social media, but at the end, but technically, if it's a character that you're performing, you're acting. It's not.
I'm asking because I know they did this with what's her name, Villaseñor.
Melissa.
Oh,
she had some tweets.
Remember, as soon as she landed Mad TV, they went after her, and I was like, dude.
SNL.
I'm sorry, not Mad TV. SNL, Saturday Night Live. As soon as she booked it, say, congratulations. The very next day was, look at the tweets. So that's why I was asking you, is it just networks that are doing this?
Well, the thing about
now, or?
But I've always, because I've worked at MTV, and from the beginning, I've always been very careful with what I say.
Oh, okay.
I'm not really, trying to shock people. That's never been my style anyways.
But nowadays it doesn't matter. It doesn't.
Yeah.
You could
No,
just literally Hispanic, and you're like, oh.
Yeah. No, I'm sure people dig back. I'm sure there are things that now, 10 years later, is gonna sound terrible. But at the moment, it didn't. At the moment, it was just normal to talk about these things. I mean, if you're not putting things into context, then that's your fault, or I don't think it's fair. But what happens is my show hasn't even come out, so there's no cultural impact yet. If it comes out and we still don't know if it's gonna hit. We don't know what the thing is. But if it hits, then I think when there's a spotlight on the people, I think it's natural for people to start looking at their social medias and try to figure out what the deal is with the person, if they're interested in them, if they're happy, if they want to follow them. Or I don't know what it is.
I wish you the best of luck, bro. I really want this show to fucking rock.
I hope so, man. Because it felt really good to shoot. I keep telling people if just even a fraction of how good it was to shoot it shines through, I think it'll be good.
I think you wish things like that. If you're listening to go, why didn't I get this? Trust me, it's not your time. You had to pay your dues.
Exactly.
I'm pretty sure
took
you
me
had
10
to
years.
do 10 years of acting, then being introduced to this series, and then you winning the role. It wasn't it's Carlos Santos. Get him in.
I have a photo I can show you. I have a stack that's literally this tall. Guys, I'm using my hands. You can't really see.
You can see him.
Oh, is this video? Yeah. Oh, I forget. It's about yay tall of auditions that I didn't get since 2011, and they're not scripts. They're just the sides.
The little thin ones.
But they're this thick. Before I booked my first series regular in the show, so there's a lot of rejection in the last.
But even the work, you understand how nerve-wracking that can be, even if you did land the role.
Yeah.
Do you understand how just to control your nerves?
Yeah.
I know because I've asked for things that I've gone there, and then I say, "Fuck, why did I even ask for this?"
Yeah. Because you weren't ready.
Because you weren't ready. When I was doing the Mind of Mencia, I had 3 lines. They cut me down to 1 phrase. That's how bad I did because of the nerves. I couldn't control my nerves. Yeah. So now knowing that you're part of this series and you're one of the leads, it's oh shit! There's a big spotlight on me now. So there's a lot of pressure to perform. What questions do you ask the director if you need direction? Just to know, look, this is what the camera's going to ask for. Maybe I should give it to him. Make it easy for other people to work around you.
Yeah.
And you do that because you're a professional. People that jump into this shit and they say, I'm an actor. I don't need a teacher.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you motherfucker. You don't know how hard you're going to make everybody else work around you because now that we have to wait for you.
Well, the good thing about this show is that Marvin Lemus and Linda... I'm gonna butcher her last name. Linda Chavez. They created the show. This is their first show too, so it was a lot of firsts for everybody. And and so he directed some of the episodes. So we were all kind of like, at least for me, we were able to come in and have this experience together, and it was beautiful. I got to be directed by America Ferrera. Nice. She did 2 episodes. She actually did the 2 episodes that are focused more on my character, and I think I'm so happy because it was just a great experience. But it's all a learning curve. As long as you're willing to absorb everything and learn and not be scared to ask questions. No, I've seen bits and pieces because I'm doing ADR now.
Okay.
You know ADR?
Yeah, of course. Because people that are listening. Sorry, I forgot to tell you.
Sorry, I don't know if people know ADR is when you record during the show and it's when you're doing the thing and it doesn't sound well, you have to go back into the booth and.
Because you mumbled some shit
or audio issues.
Exactly. Yeah. I never had to do ADR, let me tell you.
Never?
Never, because I've never been in a fucking movie. Okay. But, oh my God. Hey, Border Patrol. I need to ask you about Border Patrol. What happened? What's going on with the Border Patrol?
So I did that.
It was a series, right?
It was like a web series, like a digital series. I did the first season because they just shot, when I was doing Gentified, they were shooting the second season. No, it was just something that they a project that they were just kind of like, it was like an idea based on something that the creator put together. And do you know Bustam?
Who?
Man, we can't edit because it's all.
Don't worry about it. But yeah, I saw that you had clips on Ernie. Okay.
This is not edited. Is this all live?
That's all. No, it's not live. Don't worry about it.
Ask me again.
Hey, so Border Patrol, huh?
Ernie Bustamante, he put that together, and I got to do 1 season. But it was like a more than anything, it was like a digital like web series to see if it got picked up. It's like basically like a pilot presentation.
Yeah.
And then they just kept shooting it. So that was it.
Any specials, bro? Do you think on shooting a special?
I want to. I feel like now if I have a really good relationship with Netflix, I think it's the time to do it. We have to wait till the show comes out, but I feel really good, man, because breaking into Netflix, as you know, is now that's the tastemaker. If you get in good with them, they keep working with you.
Of course, now do you have exclusivity now that you're part of the show?
A little bit, just like not only that I can't go do series regular roles in other shows, but I can do movies, and as long as there's no conflict of schedule.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's tough. People don't know that. Once you sign those rights, you can't just say, you know what, I feel like doing something else over here. And you're like, no, you can't fucking go.
Yeah.
That's your stock, so you have to be responsible.
And it depends on the type of show. Because when you're, if especially like Bring the Funny, I heard that it was very restrictive.
Very restrictive.
So like,
yes. Were you called for that?
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, I couldn't do it because they basically, they
went through your Instagram.
They're like, we don't like this, but they basically they didn't guarantee that I was gonna be on the show, but they expected me not to work for the rest of the year. I was like, I'm broke.
I'm sorry. Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
I need to work. And I think I ended up with Gentified. So if I would have done Bring the Funny, I wouldn't have been able to do Gentified. Gentified.
No,
the Netflix show.
The Netflix show. Yeah. No, ¿quién es los Morales?
That's the family name, the family last name.
Oh, okay. The show name
itself is called Gentified.
Gentified?
It's a play on words. It's actually a real term from gentrification.
Bro, the whole time when I read it on your Instagram, I thought it was...
because that's the family, Morales family.
Oh, the Morales family.
My character's name is Chris Morales.
Gentified. Yeah. Okay, so it's Gentified.
Yeah, because it's that family trying to survive gentrification in Boyle Heights and trying to save the grandfather's taco shop, among other stories that are happening. So
what's happening now?
So that's it. I just got finished with me.
No. I mean that's what's happening now. The gentrification.
Literally. Yeah.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. So it's just
and gentifying is the term. It's called gentified because it's people. Gentified is when people that are born like from their place from Boyle Heights go out and become professionals, and then they come back, and then they bring the property value up, but they're still from there. They want to come back, and that's why it's gentifying. It's a very complicated, very polarizing issue. But I feel like we just with the show, I think it's good because it just opens up that discussion, and hopefully people can.
Do you have anything coming up now? Like it's something that you're going to jump into?
Not right now. I think now I'm just it's just summer.
That's it. Well, you already
somewhere.
shot this fucking.
Yeah, we gotta
10
wait.
episodes.
I gotta wait till that comes out. I'll tell you when. I guess we're gonna have a conversation.
Yeah, we'll have a conversation.
Once this
after.
comes out, we'll see how this.
But we'll definitely be cheering you on, promoting you, letting you know. But are you gonna focus a little bit more on stand up now, or you want to just start doing more?
I want to, yeah, and because I know that I've been trying to get back into it, especially in Spanish. I've been writing in Spanish as well. So yeah, I mean, I feel like it's all.
Would you ever go to Tijuana and do a show? Because I asked you before.
I know.
I asked you, hey, we can do this on the road to Tijuana, and we'll go do stand up. It's not a. I'm not telling you we're gonna go to some dingy bar.
Yeah.
This is called la Teatro de Papel or La Casa de Papel.
Okay.
It's a small little theater. It's like a small little improv that they have with a stage and everything.
And you run the show?
No, I don't run the show. My buddy's doing Tijuana.
Okay.
But I wanted you to see Mexican stand-up.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted you to see it in Mexico. Like, experience, go up, perform in front of Mexicans and see if it
from
flies.
Mexico.
From Mexico.
I mean, because I was in Fresno. That was my first audience, was drunk Mexicans in Fresno.
In Fresno?
Yeah.
Really? But those Mexicans speak English.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's different because they're from Mexico.
These are Mexicans. They're from Mexico.
Yeah.
But even though they're from the border town, they understand a lot of references. You say DUI, they know exactly what you're talking about.
They're bilingual when it counts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I wanted you to experience it so you know what it's like. Okay, that's what it's like to perform here. Some of the jokes fly, some of them don't fly.
Yeah.
But don't worry, I want to put together a field trip with you, Jesus Trejo.
I'm down.
I think you'd feel safer in numbers.
Yeah. I mean, I just did their show and I did pretty well. The Trifecta.
I think I'm doing it this month too with them.
Yeah.
Doing the same.
So that was fun. It's fun because it's always comedy is so. I mean, it's amazing that you can have the same idea, but you have to deliver it differently. So you said because of the language.
You said you were the youngest. Sorry to cut you off, but you said that I want to get this question in. You said you were the youngest. Your older brothers, what do they do?
Older sisters.
Older, all sisters.
Yeah, all sisters. 2 older sisters, 10 years apart.
No wonder your skin is so soft.
Yeah.
They taught me to
shave. Yeah, my legs. Yeah, I grew up with 2 older sisters, so I always felt. And also, I feel like I inherited the women's intuition. Like a sixth sense is from like being with
them. That you understood. Oh, I know what that wink means, or I know what that.
I feel like I have I'm very self-aware of everything. That's why like catcalling and all that stuff was always like weird to me because I saw it from their perspective, and I don't know.
You ever? I've done these trainings where it's these sexual harassment trainings. Mm-hmm. It's mandatory now.
Yeah.
So I have a guy that hires me and says, "Hey, we want to do them funny. So why don't you come in?"
Sexual harassment training, funny?
Funny, exactly.
Yeah, that can't go wrong.
Yeah, right? And they're asking me to do it.
Right.
So I go there.
Sensitivity.
Mm-hmm.
The king of sensitivity.
That's why the prince, by the way, the prince. So there is another king. But I show up to these meetings and I walk in and I'm trying to explain to them what's going on. Why shouldn't you shouldn't do catcalling? Esa me explains to them. For example, hola guapo. Qué linda tu barba. I said that to a dude, like this mechanic dude just standing there and goes, huh? And I said, you know that feeling you just felt right now? Yeah. Okay, that's what women feel. Right. Felt bad, right? Yeah. Felt disgusting. Okay, that's what they feel. Now there's a baseline. Now you understand. From there, start from there. You'll understand. And that's what got me the job. The guy's like, you're awesome, dude. This is great. That guy was freaked out. Nice. I was like, great. But it's all on the perspective. That's where I was trying to get to this.
There's so little validation in this world right now, and that's all we need is just to kind of put ourselves in other people's shoes for a hot second.
And understand. And go, shit, I get it. I get it. I know why.
If you don't respect or believe or agree with the other person, they're not. That doesn't come from a void. People come to these conclusions and they have opinions about everything because a bunch of factors that just because they're not part of your world doesn't mean that they're wrong.
You're not married, are you?
I'm not.
You don't have any kids,
I
dude.
don't.
Oh, that's why you speak so free of everything. My God, Carlos, you're like, oh, it's good. Life is beautiful, bro. I got a mortgage to pay. Like, you understand? Like, you save money. How the fuck do I save money with a kid that keeps growing every other second and wants shoes every day? Yeah. You understand? Like,
his shoe size keeps changing.
Yeah, I'm like,
come on,
just cut the toes. Just cut the toes. You can see a rock. I love it, bro, because you're young. You're successful. You're young. This is awesome. You don't have a kid. Now, is that something you want one day?
Yeah, sure, for sure.
Family?
Yeah.
Then you're like, yeah, why not do it when I'm rich?
But
right?
well.
Yeah.
I mean, when it happens, I'm not that young. I'm pushing 40.
You're shitting me.
No, you've known me.
Yeah, but I thought you were like 12 when you started.
Yeah, probably.
Fucking change.
No.
What's up with the beard, by the way?
So I just let it grow for pilot season. I ended up booking the show, so then maybe that's all I needed, just to grow. It takes a long time.
Yeah, because it's that you don't always have a beard or a mustache. And all that shit.
And now, yeah, it takes like 2 months just to get it to look like anything. But it worked out. I got a show where I got to rock the facial hair.
Any girlfriends right now?
Not right now. I just finished a relationship last year, so I think also maybe that was all like I had to like clear myself from other stuff before I could move on to this next step of my life, and I couldn't be happier.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Anything you haven't done yet that you still haven't fucking
that I haven't done yet?
Something that you say, shit, I wish I could still do that.
Like career-wise or personal?
Career-wise and personal.
I think I definitely want to do a special. I think that'd be great.
Do you have the name for it? We all have a name for it.
It'll be called my Carlos Santos Netflix Regular.
Netflix Regular.
Because there's so many specials out there that they're not special anymore.
Okay.
I like that's my pitch.
All right, I like it.
It's my stand-up regular.
That's professional. Personal?
Personal, I mean, obviously, I'm ready to I'm not a commitment phobe or anything, but I'm also not jumping into having something because I want it. I'm not also like my ovaries aren't bursting, you know what I mean? Like, I want to wait for the right situation.
You're good. Nothing's bursting out here. You're good. My suggestions, have her live with you for a year.
Okay.
First.
Yeah.
Trust me, don't just jump into it. Live with this person. Check her credit. Make sure everything's good, bro. Make sure that everything's squared away. In a year, you'll find out all the skeletons, at least some of the major ones.
Get the
ones
Carfax.
Yes. Then it starts clinking a little. You go, ah.
Yeah.
And you can promise her that. Like, that's what happened with me and my wife. With my wife, I said, listen, give me a year. And in a year, I'll let you go. She was 4 or 5 years younger than me. I said, I want to get married. I don't know if you do, but in a year, we'll know. And I'll let you go. And you can go do whatever you want to do. But give me a year. And, man, I put her through hell that year. And she was like, I'm still in. And I was like, all right. And she put me through hell, too, because it was very hard adjusting to living.
Sounds like a fraternity.
Yeah.
We
got haze for a year. Then she said, all right, fuck it, I'm in.
You got the fraternity marriage. You got haze, and now you're together.
Apparently, we have a lot of brothers now. A lot of fucking sheesh. Carlos, thank you very much, man. I appreciate catching up. Do you still talk to the gang before we leave? Do you still talk to the gang at LATV?
I just saw Edgar. I see some people every once in a while. But I'm mostly social media, like on Instagram or Facebook. So Viviana.
But not because you're a dick, right?
No, I think everybody's kind of doing their thing. Mm-hmm. I actually caught up with Viviana. You remember Viviana Vigil?
Mm-hmm.
At the beginning of the year. So like it's whenever.
Yeah, she's done great. Everybody's
like
done great. Everybody got it. Does LATV exist anymore?
I think it's still going. It's a different thing, but there's like they do shows and stuff.
Oh shit!
They still do shows and they still have like talent and stuff. It's just a little, obviously it's a little different than what it used to be.
Yeah, like what it used to be was really cool.
Yeah,
and we didn't appreciate what we had back then. We could have done so much more with that. Now I'm thinking like, shit.
Well, yeah, and like I feel like hosting now doesn't have the same. I feel like I got out just in time not to depend on like hosting, because I feel like nowadays there used to be like hosting agents and they used to have like. It used to be a thing. It was now I don't think it. Now they're just either take reality people or TV personalities or comedians. Yeah. They won't really. The craft of hosting, I think, is kind of changed.
What do you think of social media? Social media meaning, is it a proper representation of the person?
Oh, no, never. It'll never be. I think everybody should be okay with that, and everybody should understand. It's like
because it scares me using Black Mirror, right?
Yeah.
So now it becomes fuck talent. Where are your followers?
Yeah.
It really I'm letting you know because that's what's gonna happen with the Netflix negotiations.
Yeah.
That I do have experience with. When you start talking about your special, you better pump up those social media numbers because they go based on that a lot based on that, and you go. Now I can negotiate a better deal.
But I can't really hide from them because they'll know, because of the show, they'll know if it's popping or not. If Gentefied takes off, and
Oh yeah, that's
I feel like that would be the best case scenario.
Listen, we have the hottest show, and one of the leads in the hottest show. What's a special?
Yeah.
That I think. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. Well, thank you very much,
Thanks,
Carlos.
man.
Anything you want to plug? Your social
Yeah,
media?
you can follow me so that Netflix can see that I deserve a special. You can follow me on Instagram on Of Course It's Carlos.
Of course, it's Carlos.
At Of Course It's Carlos, and on Twitter on It's Carlos Santos.
Okay, and shows. You're running shows.
Yes, so we have once a month. I have a show at UCB called Spanish Geeky Presents, which will be in the August show.
August show.
This will come after Friday.
Yes.
So I won't plug the July show.
Plug the July show. When is it?
Friday. It's
no, it won't.
Yeah,
it
it's
won't
too
out.
soon.
Too soon.
Too soon. Or it already happened and it was fantastic. Sold out.
Sold out. Oh, you guys missed
so
it.
August. So the first Friday of every month at 9:00, we have a show at UCB. It's Spanish Geeky Presents, and then the third Wednesday of every month I have a sketch show. So it's like a team. So it's 6 writers and 6 performers. We put together.
Does it always sell out?
It gets pretty packed.
But does it sell out? What day is that? The
for
sketch
Spanish Geeky Presents, from the gate, we sold out. Where it's like fire marshal danger sold out. Like
every
95% of the times, people just. I mean the love from people and the support has been amazing from the get go. From when we started in January of 2018. From our first show and moving forward, I mean, it's been amazing because people legitimately want, like they're like excited about it in that community. They don't really get a lot of diversity in that sense, and I think now we're starting to see that happen in the improv community or in the sketch community. Yeah. So we're just happy to be a part of it.
What about the English one? Because I want to go check out one of your shows at the UCB.
The sketch or the
sketch show.
Oh yeah, what about it?
When is it?
Oh, the next one is
with your group.
So the third Wednesday of this month. It'll be
Wednesday,
actually it won't be the third Wednesday because it's longer.
Okay.
So the next show will be, and I'll tell you in a second.
What time?
8:30.
8:30.
It'll be
third Wednesday.
It'll be on the 24th of July. I have my next mod. It's called Mod. Mod teams. They're Mod teams. Sketch teams.
All right, guys.
Well, so then the team is called Duchess.
Duchess. I will be there. I will be watching Duchess on the 23rd. Thank you very much, Carlos.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate it. Good to catch up with you.
So great. I hadn't seen you in such a long time.
I know, man. Now,
I hope you ordered that thing that I messed up the other time.
And now we'll probably keep it in there. We'll take care of it. All right, guys. That's everything. My name is Richard Villa. Remember, if you want to see this whole thing, just go straight to my YouTube channel. You can see the entire interview. Bye-bye. That's it.